There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Yeah, yeah. Welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
And we are back, and you are welcome here. That was John Stringer, the theme song, reminding you to remember, to remind you to remember that you are one with the one. And in that space, in that place where the one is the house of love, the house of compassion, of understanding. So whatever you're going through and growing through, remember you can always come back to yourself. If there's nobody at home to welcome you, welcome yourself back home. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day to you wherever you are at this very moment in time. Thank you for tuning in to yourself first and then tuning in to the show. When you tune in and you listen, you gotta tune in, you listen, and you are transformed. So when you tune in, you gotta go inside of yourself. Listen to that voice, the voice of oneness, the voice of truth, the voice of transformation, the voice of healing. When you hear it, it's going to whisper something in your ear that you've never heard before. And if you've heard it before, it would just, you get a new understanding of the word. And when you do, you're transformed. It's all about transformation, and that's what we're here to do. That's what all the shows are about. I am Ade, your beingness artist. There are many other nicknames, but we won't go into that today. But maybe, I don't know. I thought the transformational agent. There is another one that I haven't used. What is it? My Buddhist name that was given. Now I feel like I want to say that. Because I can, because I actually like it. Where is it? Come on. Buddha. Okay, yeah, there you go. Playful light of the heart. That's it. I am your playful light of the heart. I forgot my own name. That happens, you know. When you're one with the one, you have so many names you can't even count. So if you're not trying to be playful and be joyful and grow, stay here long enough. You will be tempted to find out what I'm drinking. Right now, it's just water. Actually, no, I'm not going to give away my secret. Welcome to another episode of Ade Presents, Being You, the journey back to yourself. Today's Tuesday, November 10th, 2020, season 2, episode 28, actually. I invite you to join us on our main podcast page, the Being You podcast page on Facebook, right now for a more interactive chat experience. Now, if you're just listening, watching somewhere else because the show was shared, you can still enjoy the show, but we may not see your comments or your questions. So if you really want us to see your comments, your questions, then you want to go to either you could be watching on YouTube. Or, actually, no, that's not true. So if you're on my Facebook page, my profile page, you're good. If you're on the Being You page, you're good. If you're on YouTube, Life Conversations Media, you're good. But if you're somewhere else, you might just want to come to one of those places if you have questions or comments. But wherever you are, God is. So we ain't tripping. Thank you. So much is going on in the world, and this ain't the time to kick back. You can allow your guides always kick back anyway, no matter what. Your guides is like, oh, please, it's all gonna be okay. Stop tripping. Stop worrying me. I'm trying to take a nap. Oh, wait, I'm a spirit guide. I don't need naps. But there is a lot going on. Chelsea, nice to see you on Instagram. I am so grateful for you all. Being You, Ade Presents Being You is an invitation. You know, the description that I have is this whole thing about all you got to do is be yourself. And we're always told that it's simple, just be yourself. But I don't know about you, but I'm still on a journey of learning more about what it means to be me. And it's constantly changing. And I'm learning more about what it means to be me by going backwards, by looking at the stories of the past. I'm writing my book, my memoir. So I'm having to write about things that happened in the past. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is just too much. But to be you, you can be it now. You can give yourself permission to just take a look at yourself. And the invitation is to, check in and see how you see yourself. How do you really see yourself outside of what other people are saying about you? How do you see the world? There are many ways that we describe the world. There are many things going on in the world. And are you more judgmental? Are you more compassionate? Are you understanding? Or do you think the world has got it wrong? Then the other invitation is to check out how you see yourself in the world. And you might say, well, I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. Yeah. Slow down. Okay. Spiritual list. So if you're in the world but not of the world, good. That means you're ready for this next invitation. How do you see the world in you? And that's the place that sometimes causes us to feel like, no, I don't want what's out there, especially if we're being judgmental. We don't want it. We don't want to accept that it's part of us. And I really believe and feel that what is going on right now, it's a reminder. I think I've refrained from saying this, but it's coming up, and I'll see if I get some kind of clarity. You know, in one of those sacred books, it talk about a spiritual warfare. And those of us on the spiritual path, I don't do war, I make love. Yes, I'm not talking about that kind of war. I'm not talking about the war, WAR, that means we are right. That's what war is about. We are right. And when you believe you're right, you're saying the other person is wrong, and it's never ended. But what I'm sensing right now, the kind of war, the kind of struggle that happens between you and trying to figure out, where do I belong? Yes, I am one with the world. I'm one with everything because everything is connected. But yet sometimes you have a tendency to judge a family member, a political leader, or whatever, somebody helping you at the grocery store, the driver on the highway. But then you say, I know we're one. But, well, you know, if you're one and you're judging another, you're just judging you. How do we make space for that consciousness of oneness? And it's not an intellectual thing. We can talk about it intellectually, but a process of returning in our own mind. Today's topic is life is always corresponding to your mindset. Not just corresponding, co-responding. So in this journey of life where we have an opinion about what's going on in the world, where we judge others for the choices that they make, or we judge ourselves for the choices we make, well, guess what? Life is joining with you. Whatever you think and believe, life has got your back. Oh, let's do that. That's what you want to do. And we have an opportunity to just create a new paradigm. A new paradigm, and it's happening. We are in a phase where there's transition going, and it's messy. And don't be fooled. Stay awake. Stay awake. Speaking of transition, I guess I could talk about the transitions that's going on with Being You. I'm still struggling with Being You Network or Life Conversations Media. Most of you who have been following me for many, many years know that I have a radio network called Life Conversations Radio. That's not live right now, but it's not evolved to Life Conversations Media. But I'm still kind of juggling. But we're working it out. Is it Being You Network or is it Life Conversations Media? But I think it's Life Conversations Media. But anyway, in this media aspect, division of my company, my corporation, we're going through a shift. We're shifting. And I feel sort of like, something about shifting when you're changing. There's a little bit of nervousness and there's excitement and there's stories of the past that come up and wow, things that you savor. Yeah, savor. I guess that's a word, right? Let me add. That's a word, right? Yeah, you're like, and then things are changing and you're not quite sure. You create something new because with every ending, there's a new beginning. So anyway, we are going through a transition. So all that to say that India is leaving us. She's leaving us a kick. Okay, stop it. India is moving on. Well, actually, she's not moving on. She's moving on, but she's really going back to work because she's going to be working inside the office because she's been working from home. And thankfully, God said, I got your back. And we now have a new person standing by. They're working side by side right now. Leslie, who's going to be joining us. So those of you who are listening, watching right now, and even if you are, you listen to watching the archive, say hello. Send India love. Say goodbye or see you later. Whatever works for you. Send the love and light. And bring Leslie into that love and light as well as she's helping behind the scenes. So I am so grateful. So much I can say. Well, this spiritual path, this spiritual walk. Maybe I'll say more about it later. Quali, nice to see you. Quali is always like, Quali, are you always waiting at the door to the studio? Tina's in the house. Welcome. And I want to invite you, those of you who are, I'll call you my silent listeners. We've got Chelsea in the house as well. Just let us know where you're listening from. What are you doing? How are you feeling? What are you growing through? What are you going through and growing through? You know, sometimes we're going through things, and if we don't evolve to grow through it, we find ourselves feeling stuck. Just become this repetitive motion. But there's a stage where you must say, you know, it's time for me to grow through this. And to grow through it is real simple. You just want to ask deeper questions. I do not like what is going on here, but I'm willing to embrace it. I am willing to see the lesson. What is the lesson in this experience? Even if it's just like you're just saying, I don't see the lesson. I don't want to hear it, but I'm kind of receptive. The universe says, I got your back. New Jace is in the house. Thank you, New Jace, in New Jersey. And Tina is in New York. And Quali is in Florida. Florida. So, yes, India, thank you so much for all that you've done, that you do during the show. And especially, there are many more, but especially, I was thinking about that this morning, helping in creating the Being You podcast IG page, because I could not create that crap. It's not crap, but I just didn't want to say the other word. Every time I did it, Instagram, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg be talking about, no, we're protecting the community. You can't. And India said, what do you want to do? I said, I want a Being You podcast page. That's it. She said, that's it. Okay, hold on. What else you did? In 2 minutes, she goes, it's done. I was like, what? So those kind of things, if you can't get through what you're going through, ask for help. There's a lesson in everything. So thank you, India, and for all you do and all you're doing and all you did. And welcome, Leslie. All right. Life is always corresponding to your mindset. Is there anything else I want to say? I don't know. And those of you who are wondering, no, I don't have a guest today. I'm flying solo. It's just me. It's been a while, actually. It's been such a while doing the show alone that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to confess. A part of me is a little bit nervous. But nervousness is good. It's not that I can't do it. But it's this, I got comfortable in having a guest and having a dialogue, a conversation. So it's like, it's just me. I can't hide or take myself off screen and drink some water. I guess I can. But yes, let's talk about that. Let's take a deep breath. Tina said, thank you, India, for all your services. I second that. And I am Life Coach Ade, and I approve that message. Life is always corresponding, not just corresponding. See, when you look at the words that we use, there's so much that you can grab from it. When you think of the word correspond, what does that mean? It means have a close similarity, match or agree almost exactly. So when you correspond with something, there's a match with something. Oh, I just saw a message here. A match, a similarity, an equal to. So whatever you have in your mindset, whatever you have set in your mind, whatever you believe to be true, whatever you hold in your mindset. And I'm thinking of something here that's popping up for me as I say that. Whatever you believe to be true. And I'm really sensing that even the things that you believe are not true, if you've accepted it on some level as right, as true, life will co-respond with you, because your point of view, your attitude, your way of being is a response to what's going on in the world. And when life joins with you, remember my homeboy JC, Jesus the Christ, he said, where two or more gather together, there will I be. So what are you birthing? What are you birthing right now with life? What are you creating? What mess are you creating? And I'm going to use this. Some people may feel uncomfortable, maybe not. Maybe I'm projecting. So if I'm projecting all over you, sorry, let me wipe off my projection. My bad. If I'm projecting all over you, my apologies. But I want to use something that we are, most of us generally, even if we're not really engaging in it, but that we can relate to. Is this whole thing about politics on so many levels. Wow, that's interesting. The text has changed. Speaking of transition. Okay, I think we know why that happened. That's kind of weird. Anyway, we're going through a transition. And the political system in America is a very good example of what's happening inside of us. We may be deceived to think the things that are happening is just about one particular person, two particular people. But Trump, Biden, Harris, Pence, whoever it is, Boris Johnson in UK, Buhari in Nigeria, because there's some crap going on in Nigeria too. They represent consciousness. So in America, and you know, when I talk about America for so many reasons, most of my listeners in America, maybe 95% from America. But anyway, the influence of America across the globe, it's not to be underestimated. So when we look at it as an expression of consciousness, and we kind of align with the idea that life is always co-responding with whatever we have in our mindset. The question for those of you who are celebrating, for those of you who are sad, whatever that is, it really doesn't matter to God, to the universe. It is what it is. But what do you have in your mindset right now that you're birthing? Now, there's some of us who are saying, I don't give a flip. I just want a different result. I don't give a flip about other people. We got to grow up. We got to transcend. We got to. Life is calling us up. Life is stretching us. And it's the stretching is calling us to a space and a place of what it means to align with the consciousness of oneness. The consciousness of oneness. It ain't no joke. If you spend time reading, learning about oneness, it will challenge you. It will challenge what you know. Who you really are is an extension of oneness. In fact, wait for this. Most of the problem in life is because we're struggling to be somebody. We're trying to make a name for ourselves. We're trying to have some successes. But you know, true peace and freedom comes when you remember that you are nobody. You're nobody. The essence of who you are is nobody. Ooh, that's a lot. I'll come back to that in a minute. We are nobody experiencing this physical plane as somebody. And as a somebody, that tells you that you're not the totality of who you really are. So there's so many things going on in the world, in your world, around you, in your consciousness that you don't even understand, that you don't even know. And the minute your focus becomes, I gotta be somebody or else I won't know who I am, you are defining the infinite. Spiritual growth and transformation is about returning us back to the infinite. Of course, in the physical body, there's still limitations because the vibration is different. But in consciousness, you can connect with the nobody. There is a part of you that doesn't need a physical body, that exists before you were born, exists while you're alive, and exists after you release the physical body. And if your spiritual practice is reminding you every day to go back to that place beyond belief, beyond right and wrong, beyond religion, beyond sexual orientation, beyond political party, if you give yourself permission to spend a minute or two in that place, you will be stretched. So when life corresponds to that new mindset, that new awareness, transformation happens. You can't force transformation, but you can create the space for it to happen. I'm curious to hear how this is landing for you, so feel free to share your thoughts in the chat room. Let me see. There was a comment in the chat room that Tina said, I think we needed, hold on one second. Yeah, she said, I think we needed Trump to be the darkness that rallied the light. And if that makes sense, it does. He brought up all the ugly, all the shadow stuff, if you will, that needs to come up into the light for healing. Yes. And we brought it up. We brought up the darkness. We brought up the ugly. So how we related with personalities that we can call the Trumps, the conversations we have about them, the judgment we have about them tells us a lot about how judgmental we are about ourselves. I get it, I understand it, but we sometimes, more is happening internally than externally anyway. So whatever we refuse to see will show up some way, one way or another. It either show up in your spouse, your lover, your sidekick, or side piece, and sidekick. It will show up in your children. It will show up on TV. But we are only able to embrace, accept, make space for something we can't be with to the degree that we've allowed that in our own self. We're not separated from the Trumps of the world. Come on. If we stay on the identity, personality for a minute, we can look back in Biden's story and go, oh, yeah, remember he said that. He said he's changed. But it's irrelevant, because what is more important is, have we changed? Have you changed? There are things that I've done in the past that every now and then I'm thinking, oh, shit, I thought I've forgiven myself for that. Because I find myself going, can't believe I did that. And the minute I do, I go into, I can't believe I did that. That tells me there's still judgment around it. As a human being, as a spiritual being having a human experience, there are going to be some things that just, I can't believe I did that. Because the minute you define the infinite, you've narrowed it down. Your perspective is narrow. When you allow yourself to align with the infinite, it's a whole different conversation. So to get us through this transition that's happening, that is beyond politics, but a highlight of what is happening inside each and every one of us, we are learning to birth, to create a world that works for everyone. We say, yes, we're waiting for a world that we want to create a world that works for everyone, a beloved community. Well, think about it. A world that works for everyone. I remember when I sat with that, I was like, oh shit, what does that mean? Do you want to create a world that works for Trump? and his family and everybody in his administration? Do you want to create a world that works for a criminal that's imprisoned? Because spiritual truth will get you in trouble when you really apply it. It's like, whoa, you're going too deep now. You're going too crazy. Pull up. A world that works for everyone. If you are about that, if you're about oneness, if you're about loving humanity, are you willing to create a world that works for people who've oppressed you, who've abused you? And your willingness is part of the healing. Now, sometimes we do things intellectually saying, well, so what are you trying to say? You think you're saying it's okay for somebody to oppress, to abuse, to rape somebody else? Slow your roll. We're trying to heal it. We're trying to heal the injustice. We're trying to heal the oppression within our own selves. In truth, there is no out there. There is no out there. All there is our projection. What I see in the world is a reflection of my consciousness. So the minute we say somebody is evil, somebody is bad, we're now aligning with separation. And where there's separation, there's judgment, there's oppression, there's abuse, there's othering. And when we allow ourselves to align with otherings, we keep creating more of the same things that we say we don't want. And you might say, nah, I didn't do, I thought it and I forgave myself, but every thought creates at some level. All it takes is for somebody who is, I'll say less vulnerable, to pick up the vibration of the thought that you send out to act it out. The people who go on a mass shooting, they're not just picking up their own thoughts, they're picking up other thoughts of people who want to do it. Some of us probably killed some people in the past if we thought we can get away with it. Life is always corresponding with your mindset. So let's take it down a little. I know I went deep. I'm just here expressing and standing by everything that comes through me. Let's make it even more personal in life. What are the things that you're going through that are challenging? Where in your life are you holding on to being right? Can you really say you love your ex or you love your neighbor without coming up with another fine print? Like, well, I love them as long as they keep their asses over there. Well, no. You just fronting. You ain't free. You just fronting. And you can love somebody without inviting them to your house. And you can tell if you really love them by how you feel when you think about the person. If we don't set ourselves free, whatever that looks like, we're all in bondage. Because if you're not free, you're pissed at the world, you might be working in a factory, in a food factory, because you're so pissed at the world, like you might put some things in the food. And somebody else like, oh, I'm just a light being. Everything is rosy. I don't look at the dark. I don't want to look at my dark side because law of attraction will just magnify it. Like, ooh, my favorite yogurt. We are connected. We are connected, and life is here to support you in manifesting, expressing the things that matter to you most. And how do we know what matters to you most? Is what you hold in your mindset. So we got work to do. It never ends. I was watching a video today that was recorded probably about 3 years ago. It was a talk. And the conversation, the talk, if you listen to it today, you will think it's about today. Why do we still have Why do we still have greed in the world? Why do we still have people abusing others? Why do we have people oppressing others, killing others? Why do we still have government, society that believe in going to war? They attacked us, so we're going to attack them. Why do we have, why do we still have people say, I'm pro-life, but yes, death sentence. Oh, you're only pro-life if you're not killing them? What does it mean to be pro-life? This isn't even about, I'm not trying to get anybody to think about what I'm thinking, but what I'm doing is to think about what you're thinking. And we all have this sort of cognitive dissonance that happens within us. We can have a child that does something, they act real bad, but because we love them, we can overlook it. And then we can see a child, a neighbor's child, who probably does half of that. And oh my God, I've known people, I've heard people be so critical about another person's child and what their children is doing. It's like, I can't even believe you open your mouth to say that. But that's part of it. A spiritual journey is pointless if you are just free, accepting, loving unconditionally. I don't even think any of us on this planet is totally free of the human restrictions, the challenges that come being in this physical body. That's why we're here. We are here to shine the light of truth. So the best we can do is be the place for healing. And when we be the place for healing for those who are in pain, those who may be feeling like we lost and want to fight back, when you become the place for healing for them, guess what? You get the healing first, because you are the thinker thinking the thought that creates the thing. You are generating the vibration of healing. Whatever you're putting out there, you get it first. So a spiritual journey is also a kind of selfish journey. When you pray for someone or pray with someone, guess who's getting it first? You. When you love, when you forgive, when you're understanding, guess who's getting it first? You. Those of us who are teachers, like life coaches, counselors, I mean, I can speak for myself. When I do a coaching session, a healing session, I am high. When I finish the show, I'm high. We are here for one another. E.B. Chimber. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hello there. I'm just looking at Instagram. We are nobody. The truth of who you are has no physical body. And that part of you is expensive. On the human plane, we squeeze part of that nobody into somebody. And when you're somebody, it's trying to be the best body, the better one, then you're heading down a dangerous road. We are heading down a dangerous road. We are here to make love. We're here to shine light on this planet. If you are for environmental justice and you're worried about the planet, but you don't care too much or think, oh, it's a bit much when we talk about racism. Why are we talking about color? Okay. Keep doing what you're doing. If you can't stand human beings, but you love animals, you're part of the problem. Keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully it will get to a place where your heart opens and you can start to see that the things you can't be with is a reflection of what's in you that needs to be healed. And some of it is not something that you, let me say it this way. Some of the things that we cannot be with is not something that we are doing, air quotes, doing. It's passed on to us from our ancestors. But in the eyes of God, in the eyes of spirit, it's no judgment. It's not good or bad. We are just the next one in line to say, I got that. I got this. I'm going to heal it. But if you say, No, I ain't doing that. My family are crazy. That's why I stay away from them. Well, guess what? If you trace your lineage, you will find out there's somebody else in your family who stayed away from the family, and you are in alignment with that person. And life is calling you back. Yeah, some people you got to stay away from. But if it's from a place of if you feel like they antagonize you or is judgmental, that tells you there's work that needs to be done. Everything is connected. Your attitude, your belief system. Whenever you're judging, take it as an answered prayer. It's an opportunity to see where you are blocking the flow of love within your own self. Life is always corresponding to your mindset. And there are those of us who are doing the work. There are those of us who started, who are on the journey and new on the journey. If you're new on the journey, at the beginning, it might feel like, whoo, this is great. I'm so glad I'm on a spiritual path. 2 months or 3 months later, you're like, what? Wait. Everything is falling apart. I just lost my job. Wait. This is supposed to be the best path to follow. My relationship just ended. My children won't talk to me anymore. I got pain in my back and I've been meditating. Well, guess what? It's all part of the process. With destruction comes creation. When you change, when you're changing, when you're transforming, when you're changing the vibrational pattern of who you are, of your body, things unlike the new awareness are going to crumble. And it's crumbling. Some of the things breaks our heart. I know it breaks mine. I heard yesterday, I was talking to my dad, he's in Nigeria, and they're this task force that was supposedly to protect the people from armed robbers. And you may have seen the hashtag NSAR. SAR is, what is it? Security, something. I don't remember. But if you really want to know, Google it. SARS. They're supposed to be protecting people, but they end up becoming the criminals. They become the people that they were trying to protect the people from. So they end up killing, abusing, stealing money and phones, and just mistreating people. Young people in them, it's not even young people, it's more than that. People in Nigeria were protesting. And they had people supporting them, as in serving them food, water while they're protesting, supporting them on the journey. And yesterday, my dad was telling me that the government froze the bank accounts of the companies and businesses that supported the people who were protesting. That kind of thing makes me go, "Ooh, I'm feeling some fire inside of me, man." That's why I say, anyway, I might talk about that in a minute. Some of these people, if not all of them, government in Nigeria, they're the one that's stacking money in houses. They stack money in a house with the air conditioning so it doesn't. Oh, it's if I tell you some stories, if you don't know, you won't even believe it. There are political leaders who are billionaires. I'm talking dollars. While people who are working on a day-to-day basis, they make like maybe $300 a month, if that. And people are protesting, and they freeze the account of those who supported the protesters. When my father was telling me yesterday, I was hot. Now, you talk about privilege. I could be mad about something like that happening here in UK or in America and get on here and talk about it. If I'm in Nigeria talking about it, you may hear me talk about it one time, and then you don't know where I went. We don't always know the kind of privilege that we have, but life is always giving us an opportunity to grow and transform. And we all have something to do. There's something we can do to contribute. So all the things that we have in the world, that we're experiencing in the world. Some people would say, yeah, I hear all that, but I'm just, I take my attention away from that. Yeah, there are times we've got to take our attention away from it. If you're taking your attention away from something that you find ugly, horrible, that you think is evil, but your attention away from it is kind of like, I can't look. Because if I do, it's going to affect my vibration, and then there's some work to be done. If you're taking your attention away from it because you're listening to a higher call, because you know you got to listen to that voice and you don't need distraction. You don't need distractions, and you know by listening to the higher voice, the spirit voice, that you're going to hear what you need to hear that will be just what people need. Maybe your family members. Yes, freezing bank accounts because they can. But you know what? The old is dying. The old is dying, just like the ego. Your ego don't want to die peacefully. Your ego is going to be like, while you learning to meditate, or finally got to a point where, there is less mental chatter. Your ego be like, come on now. You got to get up and go to work. You're going to be late. If you get up now, you can get to work on time. All this meditating, what are you doing? You just listen to your own thoughts. Your ego was holding on for survival in this greedy, so-called powerful, they really are not. They're not powerful. They're literally powerless. They're more oppressive than anything else. And the invitation is for us to remember our own power. And I am so inspired and joyful about some of the things that people are creating right now. There's so much going on in the world that we don't even get to see on the TV. People creating in communities, businesses, doing things they've never done before. People learning that it's important to be more compassionate. What I would say is, let's not get too caught up with what's going on in the external world and focus in that internal world, because we are the bringers of the light. We are the ones here to heal ourselves and the rest of humanity. Because when you heal yourself, you're healing humanity. And it's not exclusive. It's not a either or kind of thing. You're doing it together. You get to a point where being spiritual is not about what you do. It is about your beingness. You realize being spiritual is not about what you're wearing, the garb, wearing all white, head wrap, waistband. You have an ankh on your on your third eye, the necklace. 5, 6, 7 sessions of yoga a week. There is no spot where God is not. So beyond what we wear, beyond what we do, we are always in the arms of the divine. And the invitation is to be the place where the divine gets to represent itself in a new way. And when the divine is representing itself through and as you are going to have to let go of some shit so you can experience your shift. There is no shift without releasing the shit. The difference between shit and shift is a letter F. The F is the freedom. When you choose to be free, you're going to have your freedom. You're going to shift. And we got to start where we are. If you're hustling, keep hustling. But I trust that you're hustling from a place of abundance. I trust that you're hustling from a place of being more. If you're hustling because I'm getting my hustle on because ain't nobody gonna do it for me. Well, okay. Some exit in what's what I'm looking for. From some perspective, because nobody's gonna do it for you. Yes, that's true. That's true. But language is limiting. vibration energy transcends all of that. When we are offering whatever we're doing from a place of integration, or the intention is on spirit, on the divine, on the universe, on your inner being, or listen to your spiritual guide, listen to your ancestors, it's a whole different conversation. I'm telling you, life is so much more simpler than what we make it. And the more we allow ourselves to accept and express that simplicity, the easier our life becomes. Many ways to do it. Take a nap. Just stop. Cancel the appointments back to back to say, oh, I had a hard day. I mean, sometimes we have days like that. We have to book an appointment one after the other, but take a nap. Go in nature. Go for a walk. Hang out in the forest. Even in that word, there's a message in it. The forest is for you to rest. Go to the forest. It's for you to rest. Be with the trees. Be with the animals. Be with the dogs that are running around. That you're like, oh, get away from me. Yeah, we got to decolonize our mind. That's what I know to be true. It's not always easy. Let me check the chat room. Take a break. That's right. There is no spot where God is not. Showing card, nice to see you. Julie, nice to see you. Yep. From shit to shift. You can't skip it. Your mess is what's going to deliver the message. If you can't be with your mess, you ain't going to get the message. Because the mess has to ferment. And it's got to age. And then you can receive the message. So if you're looking for what's my purpose, why am I here? I want to be a teacher. I want to be an inspirer. Well, you got to be able to catch the message. When you can be with the message, then you can be the messenger of truth. There's nobody out there teaching that you can really say they change your life and they come from their heart that hasn't gone through all kind of mess. You cannot skip it. We're going through a spiritual blender, putting all of us in the same universal blender. We're just getting dropped in with people we don't like and people at work, people picking their nose while they're driving, all the kind of stuff is dropping them in there. And we're getting chopped up. We've been prepared for a spiritual smoothie for the generations to come. And if you stay out the blender too long, you're going to spoil. So you might as well get in the blender and get chopped up. It's painful. It's challenging. And, the other thing I'll say is, even though I'm focusing sort of on the things that are sort of painful and challenging, we can go through this experience from a place of groundedness. There is a difference in going through something, believing maybe you're being attacked, you've been betrayed, or you're being punished, compared to going through an experience and really knowing or willing to accept that everything is working together for your good, that things are always working out for you. If you can hold on to that, you get to move through the experience differently. You get to move through the experience differently. A true spiritual path is not so much how much we're accumulating, it's how much we're letting go of. How much we're letting go of. I've had to face, money have always been one of my greatest teachers. And it's still trying to teach me. I'm like, I passed the test. And money's like, let's see. I'm telling you, pass, go away. And money's like, I don't know. I'll stick around here. You would know if you passed the test. And let's see, how much of this conversation do I want to share? How transparent do I want to get? Okay, I'll be quite transparent. So there's something about the human experience, right? When we're manifesting something, it seems to me and I've seen it, that we focus on the result, but oftentimes we don't talk about the process, which is what I'm talking about. That may feel painful. So when I had my 40 days and 40 night experience, or my 40-day and 40-night government retreat in a detention center, New Mexico, right? I had that experience. When I was going through it and going through it, it wasn't pleasant. There were moments that was like, wow, that I was able to get real clear about what I know to be true, of things that I believe in. And there are some things I needed to let go of. And people were saying, oh, I know you're in there inspiring people, and, we know you're shining your light. Sometimes I want to say, shut the fuck up. I'm not interested in hearing that. I want to get the fuck out of here. That's what I want to do. I don't want to shine my light in here. Enrique Baez has a song that I love. I can't remember the title now, but there's a line in this that says, wherever you lead me, I will follow. And when I was in there, I was like, I don't know if I want to sing that song anymore. No, I need to have something to say about where Spirit is leading me. But if you say you're here to serve and you're available, you never know when you're going to end up. Anyway, people were telling me I'm going to write a book. There was a lot of different stories. Some of the wardens in there was telling me, oh, you're a coach? Oh, yeah, you're going to make some money. Your bank account? I'm like, yeah, whatever. When I got back to the UK, I thought about it, but it was sort of like, maybe not. I had a conversation with a friend, and I knew it was time to write the book. Anyway, I knew that the story wasn't going to be about how horrible Trump and his administration was and what happened to me. I'm going to tell my truth, but I wasn't sure. But what ended up happening was it became a memoir. So I've been walking that journey, which is great. So when I tell people I'm writing a book, it's like, wow, really? Yes, I'm wow, really for myself. The journey to getting there wasn't pleasant. It was birth. I feel like I had to be pulled out of the birth canal. Like, ow, stop pulling my arm, doctor, that hurts. But I came out. Then I got a book coach, which is a long story to that too. A story catalyst, she calls herself, Carolyn Flynn. And we were working together, just really took me to deeper places in my writing and supported me. Then we had to do, what is it called? An op-ed to send to editors and see if they would write my story. We worked on that. I sent to some newspapers. I didn't hear back from them. And I felt another rejection, like, they didn't want it. Ouch. Because they say, if we don't get back to you within 3 days or 5 days, that means we're not interested. So I send that. They're all excited that, they're going to like my story, but nothing back. We don't always talk about that. Then we got through that. We send the book proposal out to, actually, it's the first publisher that we sent it to that turned around and said they're interested. And it took a while to hear back from them. Excitement, I got a main publisher to publish my book. Keep writing, we love what you're doing, great. Now there was a contract. I'm reading the contract and I'm like, I don't know if I like that. And I got some support to help me in understanding some of the things that I didn't understand. But the more I read the contract, the more I'm saying, I need an attorney, but I don't have the money. Maybe there's a way around it. I need an attorney, but I don't have the money. That became a mantra. And it's like, I forgot about this part. So the excitement of having a publisher was kind of like, how do I step over this? Then, of course, I put the word out with friends if they can recommend an attorney. I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I know that I wanted to honor whoever is going to assist me with the contract. Anyway, I ended up connecting with somebody that I know in Atlanta who knows me very well. And so I had to look at it. She gave me 4 things. She said, you really want to check this out and you want to check that out. And I said, yeah, but a part of me was saying I needed her to go through it thoroughly. And I want to honor her service. I want to pay for her service. But a part of me is like, where are you going to get the money from? Speaking about life always corresponding to your mindset. I had to think of the vision. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to make sure that this contract is a win-win for us. It felt safer to kind of just get a little bit of help, and hopefully the contract won't be something I'm going to regret later. But I had to tell the truth. I had to focus on the vision. The vision is, I'm writing this book. I'm putting my life into it, literally. It's a memoir. And I want this contract. I've heard stories of people who didn't read their contract, who didn't have an attorney. I want to learn from that. So I need someone I can pay for. So I had a conversation. I was a little bit nervous. I said, so I need to tell you that I really need an attorney who can go through this thoroughly for me. And by the time I got to this stage of telling her, I'd already cleared in my mind. I was clear in my mind that, okay, what would be. And I said to her, I said, you know, right now, I don't have a budget for an attorney, but I will have to get it. There was a part of me that was thinking like she was going to say, well, I don't know. But I just kept talking. I told her my truth. She turned around and said, you know, I know you, and we can work out a payment plan. Or maybe we can even defer the payment until maybe by the time your book is coming out, which is next year, next fall. But I know that I will have the money before then. But I was like, wow. What was powerful for me about that, it may be like, okay, big deal. I've done that before. You may have done that before. But for me, it was a big deal to really confess that I need your service, but I can't pay for it right now. And the fear of feeling like she was saying, well, you know, to retain me is, I don't know, $5,000 or whatever. She just said, no, we can work something out. So being able to confront my own fears, my own insecurities, my own judgment about what I think about not having a budget for an attorney, even though I need one, and be able to speak it. She ain't thinking about that. I know she's not. Guess who's thinking about it and who feels free? Me. Because I was able to voice and not try and play games. Now, like I said, it may not be that big to you, but it was big to me. And what I'm inviting you to step into is, what in your life are you sort of resisting, addressing, expressing, sharing with another person? Because the places where you're afraid to show up is actually the path to your breakthrough. There is nothing outside. There's nothing in the world that is to your detriment. There's nothing out there in the world that's coming to get you. There ain't no out there. And even if you're feeling it within yourself, there's nothing in you that you're afraid of, whether you were abused as a child, whether you got generational trauma, whether something happened to you with your mother, with your dad when you were young, maybe you were sexually abused. Nothing about that history, that experience can destroy you. Now you can create space to have that kind of experience and say, the reason I'm destroyed is because of what happened in the past. There is always another way. If you accept that because of what happened in the past, you can't be what you see yourself being in the future, life will correspond with you. And you will see many examples. You may be a talk show, somebody else having similar experience and talking about how they can't really be what they believe themselves to be or what they can be. But we don't even have to know the way. We don't have to know the how. All we need to know is the yes. And when we allow ourselves to speak the yes to ourselves, knowing that the yes is a no to something else. When Border Patrol asked me if I was an American citizen, I knew that I had an opportunity. I can say yes and get away with it. I felt like I could say yes and get away with it. But in that moment, everything in me was telling me, tell the truth. And that no was a yes to my life. It was a yes. That no was a yes to changing my life. Or else I'd probably still be walking. Well, actually, that may have become a catalyst to get things taken care of faster than I did in the past. But that no was a yes to living my life out loud, to be free, to be able to express, to do the work that I know I was created to do, to be, to live. There are many practices I talked about yoga earlier, not as a judgment, but when we step into the consciousness of spiritual bypass, it's detrimental. But we can use whatever. Some people find it easier to go in nature, to listen. There's a voice inside of you. There's a voice inside of us that is always, always broadcasting. It doesn't just broadcast when you're in deep shit and you need help. It's even now it's broadcasting. But are we keeping still long enough to hear it? Someone said to me yesterday, like sometimes our busy is blocking the blessings. Our busy blocks blessings because we're so busy thinking we got to do things, we got to do something else. Wired for greatness. My brother, nice to see you. I often say, slow down and catch up with your blessings. What we are looking for, what we are seeking is seeking us. And the key really is for us to slow down. Have a spiritual practice of meditation, of journaling, contemplation, going for a walk. Be in a community that affirms you, that holds you accountable, that supports you when things get challenging. Maybe part of your spiritual practice is it's going ahead and find yourself the counselor, the therapist. Maybe it means going to the spiritual teacher. Maybe it means going to your minister. Maybe it means going to your pastor. Maybe it means calling on a mentor, finding a mentor. Everything we desire, we need, we want is on the other side of the fear. One of the things that I've been practicing lately is me moving towards the things that causes fear in me. If I get an email and I'm like, ooh, I wonder if they're going to approve it. Are they going to say yes? Or what are they asking for now? I am training myself to open the email. Now, I'll come back to it later. I've trained myself to make the calls when I don't want to. I've trained myself to have the uncomfortable conversation. And it doesn't mean I do it all the time. We don't do it all the time. But my consciousness is shifting. So as we shift, life corresponds with that shift. It co-responds to that shift. Where two or more gather in my name, the name of the I am that I am is beyond the name called Jesus. Jesus wasn't the only son or daughter of God. Yes, I said daughter. We are all sons and daughters of the Most High. Jesus represents and represents the Christ consciousness that is us. It represents God. So when we join with life, life also is God. I'm not talking about your individual life. I'm talking about the life that's breathing you. That life that is breathing you always says yes. Always joining with you. I don't think I can do it. I'm afraid. Yes. I don't think I have everything I need, but I'm going to go for it. Yes. Or I know I can do this. Yes. There is no God out there. That's right. I'm going to say it and I stand by it. There ain't no God out there talking about, no, this is not the right time. What? God, I'm thinking of the gospel song, is an on-time God, even though we sometimes don't even, whether you're Christian or not, some of that belief system, that conversation, that thought form is in the ethers. We think, well, maybe you didn't get the job because it's not for you. God is trying to tell you there's something better. Well, yeah, I get the essence of what's been said. But God is like fire. You use it right, it serves you right. You put a fire under your bed long enough, you just might have a greater view of the sky. You come back from outside and you're cold and you put the fireplace on. It's like, oh, I'm so glad to be home. And God, Godness, spirit, whatever name. I know God, some people don't use that. Some people even do G-D. Okay. But anyway, the divine. It is. God is. You are. So as we move through this transition and For those who have ears to hear, don't be fooled about what's going on in America. There's still a lot of work to be done internally and externally. Keep doing the inner work. Keep doing the inner work. We are the freedom we seek. We are the love we're looking for. Mother Nature, the earth will be fine without us. It was here before us and it will be here after us. The trees will grow back. You might have animals with 4 legs, 5 legs or 6 legs. Who knows? But back then, it would just be the norm. You know, animals with 2 heads, or maybe people with 2 heads. But then it may be the norm. And then there'll be some channel saying, yes, as human beings, we have evolved from 1 head to 2 heads. And we're like, whoa. And the reason we have 2 heads is because 1 head represents the feminine and the other one represents the masculine. So we are the embodiment of God. And we're like, ooh, it's all a made up story. It's all a made up story. You know what stories works for you. You know the story that worked for me. And there are other parts of life that we can never explain with words, with our intellect, with logic. There's a mystery to this thing called life. There's a mystery. So take time to be still. Take time to cultivate yourself. Give yourself permission as you dig deep and excavate and be willing to face the things that you're running from about yourself. Because when you're willing to face it, doesn't mean you're actually doing it. It just means you're willing to do it. Life will co-respond with you. Life will join you and bring people in your life. I'm telling you what I know. And you know, if you don't change here, you're going to miss your... Well, no, I won't say that. If you don't change here, you won't know you've changed. Let me say it that way. Because one of the chant that I had many months ago was, I need help. I need help. I see my company just getting bigger. I need help. And yesterday I was in another group, and it's an interplay group. So we did something, we call it 3-sentence story. And so the 3-sentence story, you say you can say the same thing in 3 different ways, however it comes up for you. I won't go too much into that because I don't want to detract from the story. Or you can say 3 different things, but you're saying what's present for you. And I heard myself wanting to say, I have a lot to do and I need help. And in that moment, it's like this flash happens. Like, what are you talking about? You have people supporting you than ever before. And as I was talking, I'm saying, oh, I'm the one that needs to shift. There's still some things lingering, some thought forms lingering that I don't have help. So even when I have the support, sometimes you have to keep reminding yourself that you have the support, that you now don't ever have to worry about money. Now you're in a relationship that is harmonious and you don't have to worry about them cheating on you, breaking your heart. And if they do cheat on you and breaking your heart or break your heart, you've created such a relationship that it's about openness that you can have the conversation. Now, some people are like, no, if they cheat on me, they're gone. Okay, that's fine too. But it's about willing to go deep and excavate all the stuff that wants to come into the light. Tina said earlier, talking about Trump, he brought things so we can see it. In a way, he's a gift to humanity. Whoa, spiritual people like, wait, that's a bit much. He was a gift. Think about the hard times that you've gone through. The challenging experience. I know for me, most of the change and the shift and the transformation that's happened for me that I remember is when it's been difficult. The ones that have been kind of just natural, I forget. I start saying I need help. Like, wait, I have 3 different people supporting me in different aspects of my company right now. And everybody that came just kind of just literally walked into my life. While I was thinking, I don't know where to find the person or the people. I don't know what I really need. It just showed up. But even in the I don't know and worrying, your I don't know is a signal to life saying you need help. So even when we don't know and we feel confused, we can be compassionate with ourselves. What I can say is, if more of your attention, your focus is going towards what you know to be true, remembering that your existence, your foundation is spiritual. You don't even have to do spiritual. You can be it. And every day you continue to cultivate, to remind yourself that you're an extension of source, that you're an extension of the divine. And the more you do that, even though you find yourself every now and then worrying, the more you feel your mind and your mindset is open to more. It's not just set like this is it. Sooner or later, all the beliefs of lack would have to come out. It's like pouring clean water into a dirt. If you have a mug of dirty water and you pour in clean water into it, eventually that water is going to change. So we just continue to pour in the spiritual truth that's already here by being more loving, more compassionate, more understanding with ourselves and with others. Being willing to accept what was once challenging to accept. Being willing to let go of being right and choosing being happy. And you're really only doing it for yourself, because life will join you based on whatever's in the content of your consciousness. Life is consciousness. Everything is a reflection of consciousness. So I just want to tell you, stop trying to be somebody. You're nobody. We are nobody. And in our nobodiness, oh my God, there is nothing we cannot do. In our somebodyness, there's almost nothing we can do. But sometimes we get so caught up in being somebody that we miss the bigger picture. So there's nothing wrong with trying to be somebody. There's nothing wrong with trying to get a promotion, elevate yourself, put it in context. That this is just good for now. This is just good for now, and there's always more. Everything is temporal. Life is transitory. Everything will pass. And one day, this body itself, like, oh, we got to the end of the road. And you'd be lying down there to just get on the next flight to the next realm. Life is calling. I really believe the world we're living right now is calling for more spiritual warriors, sacred activists, people who are willing to be naked, who are willing to be vulnerable, who are willing to tell the truth of their experience. And I've shared this before, not a personal story, but Rev D, the sacred yes. If you don't have it, I strongly recommend. Let's see, we got time. What page is it? I think it's 116. Especially those of us on a spiritual path, I strongly recommend. However you want to lay your hands on this, go to library and get it. I strongly encourage you to go to Spiritual Truth and Personal Truth. I found it so liberating. Spiritual Truth and Personal Truth. Let me see if I can share something here real quick. Yeah, I think I should. I'm getting assistance so I can read clearly. Oh, this is good. All right, so let me just go here. So this line that I underline, in order for a light to shine, something has to burn. If you want your light to shine, you gotta drop all the mess that you're carrying with you. Drop it in there. In order for your light to shine, something has to burn. I want to read something about personal truth. If I can find it. So many things. But the essence of it. Oh, what happened? Oh, there she is. The essence of it is there are things about you that you can hold. I think this is it. Okay. I'm going to read this. I'm not sure if this is what I'm actually looking for. Just bear with me because I feel drawn to read it. So I want to make sure. You're way too mischaracterized the unrest within you. Okay, so let me just read this part. Way too often, you mischaracterize the unrest within you as negativity. The worry, anxieties, the doubts, the trepidation that you feel are automatically assumed to be and therefore dismissed as negativity. As those of you from the metaphysical tradition, being so allergic to negativity, attempt to run away from this rumbling. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't run away. That's just the light. That's your own light. It may be inverted, but it's your own light nonetheless. That's you. That's something within you that is trying to break out. Thank you, New Jace. Page 112. It's under the section of Feel, Deal, and Heal. You are always in a state of contrast and comparison. So much of your search for your authenticity is an attempt to distinguish and differentiate yourself from others. That is not a bad thing, but it is only half of the story. There is a place of your authentic self that is not different from anything. There is a place of your authentic self that is not different from anything. That's under the chapter, Blinded by Your Own Light. And the section I was reading, New Jace and everybody else who have Sacred Yes, your spiritual light burns through right where you are. So when your light, when life as you is shining the light on your consciousness, on your mindset, and you get nervous and you're like, oh, I'm still dealing with this, healing is happening. When the darkness is revealed, and you may mischaracterize your darkness as a being, as a personality, as a political leader, as an ex, is an opportunity to allow your light to keep shining. And life will join with you to transform it. What book is that? That's The Sacred Yes by Reverend Deborah L. Johnson. Let's try that. Not that I can just say it, but I don't know. We do that sometimes. I can't even get in the camera. There we go. Yeah, mine is kind of raggedy, but the truth is still real. Truth is timeless. And this is volume 1. The second one is Your Deepest Intent. If you find yourself asking questions, volume 2, Letters from the Infinite, Your Deepest Intent. Deborah L. Johnson. You've heard her. Most of you know her. But I'm telling you, the words in this book, and if you don't know, this book, she doesn't use the word channel. She calls it prophecy. She calls it download. She received the download and the words in here. Oh, for those of you on Instagram, my bad. Forgot you guys are there. Your Deepest Intent is volume 2. And the first one is The Sacred Yes. You can open up to a page and you will get exactly what you need because the truth is so profound. The point I was making earlier about this personal truth and spiritual truth. You can honor and acknowledge your insecurities, your fears, your doubts. You can acknowledge that you have pain in your body and yet know that you're healed. It doesn't take anything away from your spiritual truth. And for me, I used to sort of like, I couldn't acknowledge my human experience. And if I do, then I'm going to attract more of it. So I just have to keep saying, I am abundant, I am prosperous. Yeah, I am that. But real truth, the truth will set you free. If you're doing a prayer treatment, you have to know what you're treating for. You have to know what you're praying for and praying from. So you can pray exactly for what is happening. This spiritual journey will have you go into the darkest of dark and shine your light. It's not about what we're wearing or the awards that we get. They matter for a little while. But the truth is alive in us as us. Thank you, Tina, for posting that. Thank you, Leslie and India for posting. Yeah, y'all just got me covered. See, I got help all over the place. It's almost time to release this conversation. Let's see if there's anything else I need to share. I can tell you some of the things that I'm going through or working on. Told you I have the book that has been published by a main publisher. Then I have another book that I'm self-publishing. And all of it is just calling for more. And the book that I'm self-publishing, I'm doing, it's pretty much been ready for a long time. But because in my own mind, I didn't think it was perfect. I didn't think it was ready. I thought it wasn't good enough. I just left it on my computer. And this year I said, flip that. I was going to release it in July. I thought it would be ready by July. It wasn't. And then I changed it to, August. I still didn't get to do it. And after a while, I stopped talking about it because I'm thinking, ain't nobody trying to hear this book you're trying to self-publish. They ain't coming out. But the thing is, the vision was there. It won't let me be. And I was able to find somebody, which was actually interesting because the person who's helping me with the self-publishing aspects of it, I reached out to her to do the book cover. And then as I was talking to her, I was finding out she's more than a graphic designer. And she was like, well, you got to do this and do that. And some of the stuff she was saying, I ain't trying to do all that. I have a lot of things I'm doing right now. We can do some of it on a small scale. But just in saying yes and moving in that direction and not knowing where it's going to lead me, I found out she can help in so many ways. What we're looking for is right here. And all we have to say is yes. We don't have to know how. And the more we are willing to be willing or willing and available for what wants to be birthed through us, the more we get to create a new reality. At the very least, if your external world doesn't shift, internally, there's going to be a sense of peace. I have some friends saying, I spoke to a friend today where it was actually a message like, I didn't get caught up in the election, because I just took myself out of it. I had somebody saying, I knew that whoever wins, I'm going to be okay. And when we can get to that place, we don't have to be in the place where we're saying, wherever you are. But the idea is to bring ourselves back to the middle. Because if we say we believe in God, if we say we're spiritual, if we say we believe the spiritual truth and principles that we say we believe, then we need to walk it. We've got to walk the walk and talk the talk. The most important person in your life is a person in your house. And White House or Blue House. Because there were folks who were excited about Barack Obama when he was running. And I get the symbolism. All of it has a symbol. I get it. And some of those people who were excited and then, yes, the promise for Black people. Some of them were like, he didn't do shit for Black people. And some people might say, yeah, that's true. Some people might say, no, actually, he did more. But it really doesn't matter. If you don't take care of your house, ain't nothing nobody out there can do in their house, make you be at peace. And we always find what we're looking for. Whatever you're looking for, you find it. So what are you looking for? And what you're looking for is what you're looking with. I think I'm complete. There's more I can say, but it'll be kind of redundant. I probably have been redundant already. But so anyway, I'm just going to thank you because there ain't nothing new about truth. Everything I'm saying, all of you that are listening, what I know that's true is you may have heard something differently. To say, wow, I never thought it from that angle. But we are the embodiment of spiritual truth. So all I'm doing is reflecting it. When you teach, however you teach, you're reflecting it. So this is kind of like a meditation. I am the mental chatter in your head, but that's grounded in love. So whenever you meditate and you feel me in your head, let me stay there because I got some stuff for you. I'm just echoing the truth and listening and echoing the truth. Let me see if there's anything in the chat room. Every time I go, right now, I'm going to think of Leslie because she reminded me. She pointed that out. You know when someone, Professor James, that's an interesting last name. Is that James or James? Nice to meet you. Let's see. I want to see if there's anything in the chat room that I want to address. Thank you, New Jace. I think we are complete. I'll be back next week. Thursday show, Ade presents the heart of the matter. It's doing what it's doing right now. I have made peace with, not necessarily getting somebody wanting to do work. I was kind of attached at one point. But if you're interested in sitting with me, sitting on the hot seat of transformation, just to look at areas of your life where, you're feeling hindered, you feel like something is, you're just trying to get a broader perspective of what's going on in your life, you can be my guest on the Thursday show. It is every Thursday. Well, when I have a guest, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK time. Ade presents the heart of the matter. You get to see, even if you're thinking of really working with me, that's an opportunity for you to find out. And what I know for sure is by being a representation for the viewers, it speeds up your healing process because people who are watching you go through your process, sending you energy, and it's multiplying. So if you're interested, send me an email. You can go to my website, adelove.co.uk. No, it's not. I don't even know my own website because I don't need to know it. adelove.co. Adelove. adelove.co. And if you're used to my other ones, you can go there, lifecoachade.com. That's fine too. I don't care how you get there. Just get there. Just come here. Let's do this. Let's do this damn thing. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. I'm not sure. I was just making topics he was about to discuss. What the book is named Spiritual. No, Charlie. The book is not named Spiritual Truth. The book is Your Sacred Yes. I can never find the camera. It's crazy. Okay, that's better. The Sacred Yes. Letters from the Infinite. And this is I Am With You Always. In the book, in the chapter, Blinded by Your Own Light, there is a section called Spiritual Truth, Personal Truth, and Spiritual Truth. If you read that and it doesn't change your life, if you read this book and you feel like, I'll pay you back. I'm telling you. Spiritual truth and personal truth. And when don't get me going again. Don't get me fired up. Spiritual truth and personal truth. When you get that, when you integrate it, you can hold the dramatic and you can hold the divine. You recognize all that drama is just for entertainment purposes only. I'm grounded in my divinity. I love you once again, and I bless you, and I thank God for you. I so appreciate you. India, thank you very much. I feel like I want to play Boys to Men, End of the Road. And if my voice wasn't doing what it was doing, I would sing the song. No, I won't. That's a note I can't hold. Nah, don't even do it. My voice is already saying, don't you dare. So just play End of the Road. Well, it's not really End of the Road. It's the end of a chapter, And Leslie, thank you very much. And I see some things. Pat, welcome. Nice to see you. You're late, but you're always on time. Don't worry. The show is, as you know, is archived. I'm complete. Take this consciousness, everything that you've learned, everything that's come up for you, the aha moment, maybe the new perspective, the shift that has happened. I invite you to multiply the consciousness, and anything that came up for you that you thought, wow, I can use that. Use it, not because I said it. Use it, because the more you use it, the more you embody it. It becomes a way of life. I want to play John's song. I'm feeling like I want to hear that. But actually, yeah, let's see. Yeah, we can play. We can leave with You're Welcome Here. Internet, send you some love in the chat room. The sacred yes and your deepest intent. Get one of them. Really get volume 1 first. But let your spirit be your guide. You're welcome here. I'll be back next week. Same time, same place. 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time. Thank you, everyone. Peace and blessings.
There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community.